Welcome to the meeting of the Metropolitan Environment Committee. This is Tuesday, February 27th, 2018, and looks like the committee is raring to go. So first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I don't see any changes in the agenda.
Move approval.
Support.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion prevails. The next item is approval of the minutes. Are there
Motion, Madam Chair.
Second.
no changes or corrections? They really are in a hurry. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes have been approved. The first business item is 2018-15, and it has to do with the 2016-17 SAC Task Force recommendations, and Ned Smith is going to present. Welcome, Ned.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Ned Smith, and I am the Director of MCES Finance and Revenue. And I guess that's as good as that gets. So, very excited here to talk about the task force. We've been working at this almost 2 years now, and we're very thrilled to share out the final recommendation from the task force, as well as the overwhelmingly positive response we've heard from the community. And in fact, presented this morning to the Senate Committee on Local Governance. Thank you, Senator Hall's committee, which also has Senator Patricia Torres Ray is the ranking Democrat. She is the one who changed the initial outdoor seating bill to say, please go do a task force. So it was great to read back to her, and the changes that we presented were very well received with that committee as well. So with that, we'll dig in. So for the actual proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council approve the recommendations for the 2016-17 Sewer Availability Charge SAC Task Force effective July 1st, 2018, including first, continuing outdoor seating policy as is, but simplify the criteria to 40 seats per SAC. Second, continue our residential rate for manufactured homes, monitor flow studies, and encourage grants. Third is to revise the SAC determination process to utilize gross square feet of tenant space versus net square feet of individual usage for certain SAC criteria. And fourth, adjust the grandparent credit date from January 1st, 1973 to January 1st of 2009. Those are all quite a mouthful, and we'll dig into those so that they make more sense. So just for a little bit of a background, we did have 14 representatives. This task force was commissioned by the Metropolitan Council back in November of 2016. We had 14 representatives from the customer communities and businesses, including metro cities. And again, the four challenges for the task force were look at our outdoor seating policy, look at options for manufactured homes that have been asked to convert to the Metropolitan Disposal System, consider opportunities to simplify the SAC determination process, and then consider opportunities to simplify the credit process. And I do want to back up just to reiterate the customer community, the representation. We wanted to make sure that was geographically diverse as well as functionally diverse. So geographically, there were members from the inner core, first ring, second ring, third ring, all the way out to the edges. And then functionally, we had city administrators, city managers, finance directors, building officials, building inspectors, so people that kind of eat, breathe, and sleep SAC every day and see it from all the different perspectives, as well as two business members. One was from the Restaurant Association, particularly with an interest in the outdoor seating, as well as a brewer from Summit Brewing, because any changes in SAC that would be distributed across the rest of the rate base means that the rate base would pay more. And so we thought it would be good to ask someone who'd be charged more if we exempted outdoor seating. So the recommendation for the outdoor seating, just as a reminder, currently we do discount outdoor seating by 75%. That's not because people don't sit outside 25% of the year. That is because when it rains, our system is under stress. And when it rains, people don't sit outside. So there is a discount that's merited there. The task force overall agreed that no change was needed at this time. other than simplifying the language surrounding the policy. So right now, outdoor seating is 10 seats per SAC times a 75% discount, which is a lot of math, counting horse legs dividing by 4. So what the council said was, the task force said, just change it to 40 seats per SAC and eliminate the use of discount. Now, what's interesting is when we implement the third recommendation, which is the gross square feet, on July 1st of 2018, we will no longer be counting seats for SAC. It'll just be based on square feet. And the way the math works out, it actually is going to double the amount of free, quote unquote, free seats for outdoors. And that is because I'll dig more into that. But the point is, it increases the number of seats. That now it's roughly 39 seats are free outdoors, which means any coffee shop will be just fine if they want to put a few chairs out on the patio. You're really only looking at large restaurants that would need to pay anything for patios. So manufactured homes, this was something that our community development team looked at last year. The concern was if you have a manufactured home that is being asked to convert to the Metropolitan Disposal System, when that happens, they have to pay SAC. So SAC is $2,485, call it $2,500. Some manufactured homes are only worth about $10,000. So this would be a material burden on a manufactured home owner. Now, a lot of times these are also owned by parks, and so it would be a burden on the park owner. And we just wanted to figure out if there's a way we can do that to kind of ease the burden. One suggestion that came out was to look, and one recommendation that came out is to look at the data for the flow that comes out of manufactured homes. So if the flow is, as a proxy for maximum potential demand, is lower than what comes out of a standard household, then a discount would be in order. We would say a manufactured home pays 80% of SAC. We do have other discounts for other types of housing, for apartments if there isn't a washing machine and other things like that, where if there's something that actually justifies a lower flow coming out of a house, we will offer a discount. So we're going to continue to monitor studies. There's not a lot of data out there for manufactured homes, so that's where we're a little bit stuck. But we will continue to monitor those studies to see if we can prove whether the flow is lower. At the same time, we're going to continue to encourage grants, first and foremost from community development, but from wherever else we can find them. As you may know, there's a grant process right now with community development for some of the manufactured home developments that are being asked to convert, and I think they're shooting to pay 50% of the SAC charge. So getting into the nuts and bolts of this is the third recommendation, which is to change the SAC determination process to use gross square feet instead of net square feet of individual use. So this will greatly simplify the process. In this example here, you can see you've got a warehouse and if you were doing a determination on the left with the old process, there would be 3 lines there. There'd be 1 line for warehouse, there'd be 1 line for the office space, and then there'd be 1 line for the conference space, because those SAC is all about the humans and what they're doing in a building. And so the concentration of humans in a warehouse is different than it would be in an office space, is different than it would be in a conference room. So there certainly is a great deal of complexity there. And what the task force recommended was simplify it and just look at gross square feet and the primary use. So just look at the footprint of the building. In addition, we will be combining certain categories to further simplify. So I believe we had 38. We had 38 categories that were combined roughly down to about 30. So we took some categories and combined them to further simplify the process. One of the key takeaways, so in addition to being simpler, another huge difference that this results in is that if you have a no change of use remodel, there is no SAC due. So that means if you have a coffee shop and it's a Starbucks and a Caribou comes in and takes over that store, as long as it doesn't change the footprint of the building, there will be no SAC due. And that is something that has baffled our customers for years, because what we used to do was calculate the net square feet of the seating. So if you removed a bookshelf or you removed a wall or you changed the location of the bar, then there could be additional SAC due because the net square feet available for seating could have increased. And those conversations never went well. So what this is doing here is it eliminates the SAC surprise, because again, people were shocked that if I'm a Caribou and I'm taking over a Starbucks, how on earth could I have SAC due? Well, that'll go away. As long as you keep the square foot, the footprint of the building the same, there'll be no SAC due. And that's also true if you convert from a pizza place to a burger place. Actually, the one key though is we still will need to do a determination, because Met Council might not know that that is a Starbucks. Met Council might have think it's still a bookstore when it initially opened. So we will still need a determination just to make sure that we have a record, an accurate record of the use of the property. Another huge change is the SAC credit process. Currently, the date for the grandparent credit is January 1 of 1973. That's because that's when the SAC program was started. So what a grandparent means is if a building or a restaurant was opened in 1956, obviously there would be no record of SAC from 1956. So we would ask the city to prove to us that it was a restaurant either on or before January 1 of 1973. And cities, the customers, our cities on the task force said that's really hard for us to do. Most of us don't keep records that far back. And so the recommendation was to change that to January 1st of 2009. The reason we chose that date is because that is when the Met Council started keeping records of both the floor plans and the determinations for every business that came through our shop. So we have good records from January 1, 2009 forward. And that means, again, if it was built in 56 or 85 or 98, and we have no record, if the city can prove to us what was there on January 1 of 2009, then they will get credit for that use. And that is huge. And the other thing to note is that credits will be issued on the revised criteria, so we will use our new calculation method versus the old. I do want to point out one other thing on the SAC credit. Another key point is that if your SAC was paid in 2005, and now you come in and we have record of it, and now you come in 2018, the credit is going to be the greater of what you paid or what the current calculation would come up with. Now we've tried to design the system so that answer is always the same. So the net square feet to gross square feet, you should get the same answer every time. A restaurant in the old category, the old process would get 10. A restaurant in the new process should also get 10 SAC due. But in cases where that's not so, there could be some slight variances. That's actually part of what the test period is for, is to find those variances. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the point is, when we go back and look at history, we're going to give you we'll give the customers the better of the two. So if they paid for 10, but the calculation says it's 11, they'll get 11. So community outreach, we did a great deal to reach out to both communities and businesses to share these findings and get their input. Find out what their concerns were, see if there were improvements we could make. And so we started with our customer communities. We had 3 meetings, one at Metro Cities, one in Eagan, and one in Golden Valley. So we tried to distribute it out geographically. And we'll walk through. We had great attendance, actually better than our budget forums, which made me sad. But we're going to fix our budget forums. They're going to be workshops so we get bigger. And I'll share with you what the feedback was in a minute. And then we did business outreach meetings. For the November 29th and the February 6th, we partnered with Minneapolis staff to reach out to their small business groups that they have contact with. On the 29th, that was specifically a small business advisory group. So these were, the attendees were representatives of development groups. In St. Paul has a standing business resource group that meets every month. So we got on their agenda and presented those. And then we had someone called us, actually from Faegre and Benson, because they are the lobbyists for the Shopping Center Association, and asked us to come out to present to their members. That was in December down in Bloomington. And again, we went out to Minneapolis again to share what we knew and get just more opportunity for people to hear and learn about it. In addition, we did an email campaign. We sent out about 150 emails to our regional chambers of commerce, and then also our database of businesses that we frequently work with, DBEs and MCUBs, to request their feedback. And then if anybody called us and wanted to hear more about SAC, we would always eager to talk about SAC and task force. So the outreach feedback was overwhelmingly positive. Some of the quotes: "This will really simplify the process. This will be easier for staff and businesses to understand." Some cities even thought they might start doing their own determinations again, which would lower our workload. But we are always eager to do our determinations. We are certainly not trying to push those determinations out to our cities. We're happy if they wish to do that, but we are, of course, eager to do them ourselves. And then the business outreach, my favorite one was: "I did not expect such a major change." I think people thought this was just going to be another little change, a dot to a comma. It's great. You are working with customers to improve the process, and I've been impressed with the outreach and that it was done as well as it was. What the overwhelming thing that we heard from the community, from the business, and also from the Senate Local Governance Committee this morning was the amount of collaboration that we did, and the willingness to reach out to our customers and really kind of just encourage them to say what they think. What's on your mind? This isn't defense. We're not trying to prove what we're doing is the best thing. And so a lot of people think collaboration is me coming out and telling you what I think, and then since I've told you what I think, I get my way. And that's really not the collaboration we're trying to build here at Environmental Services. It's really to hear our customers, hear what they say. One of the things I'm most excited about the outcomes for the gross square feet is that wasn't our idea. That was something that's never been considered in the council. That was one of the task force members, and about 3 others said, "Geez, I was raising my hand to say the same thing." So 3 of them kind of said at the same time, "You should do gross square feet." We'd never considered that before, and it's a home run. It is a great way to do SAC, and it's a great way to make this process simpler for our customers. And I'm thrilled that that was a customer idea, not ours. So it's been very positive. Customer impacts is, again, we mentioned there should be minimal impact to SAC revenue. About 1 or 2% is our estimated. We based this on 5-year history. We have about 3,000 records that we did the analysis on, and we've kind of gone back and said, well, what if we did those 3,000 the new way? What answer would we get? It's about a 1 to 2% revenue fluctuation, but in the numbers that we're talking about, that's pretty hard to nail down. The thing for customers that's important, sorry, back up. And so the reason that that's important is that means SAC rates won't go up. So we will not need to change our SAC rates as a result of this change. So the customers will continue to enjoy $24.85 as one SAC unit. We're projecting that at least through 2020, and we had such a solid 2017. We're probably projecting that another year or two, certainly another year. So we will not be raising our SAC for quite a while, is the plan right now, assuming continued robust development. So overall, one SAC unit should be the same in an old system versus the new system. So again, a restaurant or anyone else shouldn't be disadvantaged if they apply on July 2 versus June 31st. They should get the same answer. But we are going to take some time throughout the rest of the first half of 2018 to test it. So right now, the SAC technicians are doing every single determination both ways, which is a Herculean task, and I'm grateful for them for their extra work for that. And what we're trying to do is we're keeping a record then of what's the old way, what's the new way, and are they fundamentally the same? And if they're not, and if there are wild crazies, then we need to figure out how to address those. So if it's old way is 10, new way is 11, we can live with that. If old way is 10 and new way is 29, we need to take a look at that in that category and see what's going on, that there was such a huge difference. So we'll be tweaking the criteria between now and July 1st so that that doesn't happen on July 1st. And then the other thing we'll be doing is rolling this out to the communities and training them on what the changes are and what it means for them. And then we will do a final task force report that'll recap all the meetings and all of the collateral that we created so that it's in a centralized location. From a Thrive Lens perspective, from Thrive Outcomes, this exemplifies stewardship, first and foremost because SAC helps us to preserve our asset base. So we are making sure that we can continue to preserve our asset base and have a robust capital program that makes sure our system is optimized. But it's also stewardship of our ratepayer money. We want to make sure that we're using SAC dollars in the best way possible and that that our application of SAC fees and the way that we administer SAC is the optimal for our customers. Prosperity, this is SAC is often brought up as a barrier to development, so we want to make sure that we can minimize that barrier. So certainly that's what the change of use remodels, or no change of use remodels, will help to encourage redevelopment of customer properties. Thrive principles, collaboration, we've talked about that, just that we really did work hard to reach out to our customers, and it just was a much better outcome than had 4 of us sat in a room. And then accountability, this is making sure that we're transparent and making sure that our customers feel like the manual that we work from is their manual and it is written with them in mind, and that we are very willing and eager to check in with them and say, how can we make this better? How we are accountable for your satisfaction. How do we make sure that it is the best system? So with that, I would put the proposed action up again. I'd prefer not to read it because it's really long. And I'm seeing head nods. We got it the first time. And with that, I will stand for any questions.
Committee members, questions, concerns, comments?
Good work.
Yep.
Councilmember Topsky.
Thank you so much, Chair. I don't have a question, but I do have just some comments because I got to participate not as an official member, but went to the meetings and learned a lot. And so it was also interesting conversation. There were always treats, which is really good. And it was a little like the Constitutional Convention, right? Where you kind of think everybody's going into this room to do a small little tweak and they come up with a whole new plan. So anyway, it was really good. I appreciate and want to thank staff for your openness to new ideas, and also thank Councilmember Wolf for kind of leading the charge, but also you were the one that identified the January 1st, 2009 date as a good way to kind of deal with those credit things. And so it was a good process around.
Excellent. Councilmember Wolf.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also wanted, since we're thanking people, to make sure that that everybody knows that our city partners were just amazing in this process. They were a little hesitant when we started out, and I had to tell them, no, we really do want to hear what you want to say. And when they opened up and we could really brainstorm, it made a huge difference. It was a great process. So it wouldn't have happened without them.
That's right. That's been my experience with some of the other task forces, is this openness to what's on people's minds, and that makes it far more productive. And I congratulate you, Councilmember Wolf, but also the staff and people for the work that you got done. And it seems like it's a big hurdle that we've come over, and I know in my community there'll be a lot of cheers. Anyone else? So we have a motion before us that the Metropolitan Council approve the recommendations of the 2016-2017 Sewer Availability Charge Task Force effective July 1st, 2018, including all these other points.
So I would make that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We have a motion.
I'll second it.
And we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Nice work.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Excellent, yeah. Next item on the agenda is 2018-50, and it's regarding a contract award for the Mound area improvements, and Karen Keenan is going to present to us.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and council members. The Mound Area Improvement Project is located in the city of Mound in Minnetrista. We'll be replacing 3 miles of 24-inch force main with 2 18-inch force main. On this map, that's shown in orange. Starts at our MCES maintenance facility and lift station site at the north, and will continue on CASA 44, ending at Lotus Drive to the south. There's a lot of coordination involved with multiple agencies in this project. Mound for water main improvements, Hennepin County for drainage and storm sewer improvements. Minnetrista will be making a force main connection improvement. Well, we've also been coordinating with Centerpoint Energy, who's going to be upgrading the gas main in the area prior to our work. Now, construction will start this year and end in 2020. So at the end of this project, this corridor will have new gas main, new sewer, water, storm drain facilities, a reconstructed street section, and also the area from Lotus Drive to Highway 7 that will be resurfaced as well. So a greatly improved corridor in this area. The Metropolitan Council received 3 responsible bids at $22,819,355.50 to $27,028,401.86. Geislinger and Sons, Inc. submitted the low bid, which was less than our engineer's estimate of $27,610,099. Geislinger met the disadvantaged business goals of 8% minority business enterprise and 8% women business enterprise. Through the Thrive Lens analysis, this project meets many of our Thrive goals. Stewardship, our public financial resources will be invested efficiently. We're sharing costs through cooperative agreements with the City of Mound and Hennepin County, and effectively to maintain and restore our existing wastewater infrastructure, which of course will protect our region's natural resources. Through sustainability, preserving our wastewater infrastructure to maintain and support our region's well-being over the long term. Through equity, using our investments to build a more equitable region through our disadvantaged business goals, which are administered by the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority. And through prosperity, protecting natural resources and investing in infrastructure needed for our economic competitiveness. We're also promoting our regional principles through integration and collaboration. This project has been coordinated with multiple stakeholders, and we've been collaborating with those stakeholders to solve some very complex technical issues in this area. And with that, proposed action today is that the Metropolitan Council authorizes its regional administrator to award and execute a construction contract for the Mound area improvements at 7021 Interceptor, MCES project number 802829, contract number 17P289 with Geislinger and Sons, Inc. for their low responsible bid of $22,819,355.50. Also, happy to entertain any questions.
Committee members, questions, comments?
Move approval?
Support. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The recommendation has been approved. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Madam Chair, council members.
The last item on the business portion of the meeting is 2018-54, and it too is a construction contract award for the Seneca wastewater treatment plant, and Renee Heflin is going to walk us through this. Hi, Renee.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, council members. My name is Renee Heflin. I am the manager of plant engineering technical services, and I am here to present business item 2018-54 construction contract award for the Seneca wastewater treatment plant solids improvements project. This project was recommended in the 2013 Seneca wastewater treatment plant solids improvements facility plan, which was approved by the council. Located in Egan, the Seneca plant has been in operation for 46 years, since 1972. It treats 25 million gallons of wastewater daily for the cities of Egan, Bloomington, Burnsville, Savage, and parts of Inver Grove Heights, Apple Valley, Edina, and Lakeville. The last major construction project, which occurred 2009 through 2012, installed disinfection and phosphorus removal. As shown here, this project is about 1/2 asset preservation and 1/2 quality improvements. The asset preservation elements are listed here. Replace the solids building roof and safety railing, patch and install the liner for the primary scum pits, it's just addressing concrete erosion. Replace the solids odor control system, repurpose Enviro building, and replace the cake, or they're just some solids hoppers, conveyance equipment. The Enviro building is being repurposed for some equipment storage and also to designate a machinist workshop or hot works area for the plant. This slide shows quality improvement elements. We installed a temporary chemical addition and have demonstrated compliance with the 2017 EPA emissions limits. This project will install the permanent system. This project includes energy efficiency improvements for lighting, aeration control, blowers, boilers, and thickening equipment to decrease energy use. The total net energy savings is $200,000 per year. The Seneca Solids Improvements Project promotes the Thrive principle of stewardship in supporting efforts to maintain the region's wastewater treatment system, and it also promotes the Thrive outcome of sustainability by supporting efforts to invest in the region's wastewater treatment system so that it can be operated in an effective and efficient way. This is a bid summary. Bids were received, 4 of them were determined responsive and responsible. The range was $19,212,475 to $19,841,675.38. Rice Lake Construction Group submitted the low bid. The engineer's estimate was $812,157. The disadvantaged business goals of 5% MBE and 5% WBE were met according to the Office of Equal Employment and Opportunity. The proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council authorize its regional administrator to award and execute a construction services contract for the Seneca Wastewater Treatment Plant Solids Improvements Project, project number 807520, contract number 17P204A, to Rice Lake Construction Group for their low responsible bid in the amount of $19,212,475.
Thank you, Renee. Are there questions or comments? I know we've asked this in the past, but we had a contract just before you that had 8% minority goals, and this one had 5%. Why are they different?
Madam Chair, it's determined, OEO helps us, engineer and OEO work together to look at the various scope elements of the project, and where those can be done by DBE or MBE contractors in the area, they will set aside those portions of the project. On some projects that we have that require a special, there might not be any DBE qualified firms available to do that type of work. But for this one, it was determined a 5% and a 5%.
Thank you.
Just a
Councilmember.
comment, I mean, I think it's no longer Wanda, but, because she's gone, but they do a really thorough job on looking at, contractors. I mean, it's not participation from workers, but it's contractors that I mean, it's a really thorough process that they go through, so I'm always really pretty comfortable. I always like to see more, but this is what's available within the region.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. So we have a motion before us or a proposed action. Is there a motion?
So moved.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion has been adopted. Thank you very much, Renee.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And the last item on our agenda is information from our general manager, Lisa Thompson.
I know you're going to be disappointed, but it's only been 2 weeks since our last meeting, and I don't have any new information. Ned gave the good news of the positive response at the presentation this morning, and that would have been something I would have been ready to cheer about, too.
So if there, Councilmember Wolf.
Not to delay things, but I want to make sure that the staff that worked on all of the SAC stuff knows that they're awesome as well, because we didn't explicitly name them during the agenda item, but they did a fantastic job as well.
Yes, I've been consistently impressed with our staff. So if there's nothing else to come before the committee, this meeting is adjourned.